Hello Tubesters, it's me Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're just going to do a catch-up on the Soviet tankman and crew 1939 to 1942 from Orion, hence the box in front of you. As I said on a previous vid when I did a bit of an unboxing stroke review on these, I'll put some paint on and we'll see what they look like. So without further ado, yes, they're a bit farther away at the moment, let's get in a bit. So these are 1 in 72 scale, is that around 20 mil? Believe it to be. Let me get a pointy stick of some description. Keep her under the light, sorry guys, I don't know why I don't just use this viewfinder without trying to keep moving things out the light. Right, this is a plastic figure. I'm doing these in a slight mixture, but mainly like these black moleskin. It's not supposed to be leather, it's like a black moleskin that they wore. There's a few things like buckles and bits and pieces I've got to do on them, but I've had these around on my desk for a while. I just wanted to get a video out because I did say I'd show you. Now on this guy, can you see lots of little bits sticking up, little thrifty bits as I call them. I could not get rid of that for the life of me. Now, I'm not saying this is a fault of the plastic or this company. I've not put a brush to soft plastic figures since I was a youngster, and that was many moons ago. And I just could not get. I've tried. I'd already painted these. Victor had said to me on a comment, try the other side of the scalpel, not the sharp side. And that actually worked quite well, Victor, but the moment you took the scalpel away, I tried this on another piece of plastic, sorry, it still left these little tiny tufts sticking up. Now I've even used a sanding stick that's used for aircraft canopies, which is ultra smooth, and I just couldn't. All it do is tear the plastic up. It's really annoying because the poses themselves, you know, they're fairly decent poses, you know, it's you can work with them. This guy here I've actually cut, he's got a pistol. I would have preferred a few more relaxed poses. I'm not really into although again these are marketed not just for say dioramas, but obviously to war game and I suppose, let's face it, kids to play with and whatever, so which means most of us over 30 because we all seem to still play little soldiers or whatever. He did have a pistol in, I've roughly cut it out. He's going to be looking over the engine deck. I will probably use these, although I'm not 100%. Little guy here I've cut in half, cut one arm off. This other arm's only here because I've been probably using it to be bracing inside the tank. You only actually see literally about that much of him. I've given him a brown leather padded you know, helmet type thing, and you see there's still little bits sticking up. That's not paint, that's all the little bits of plastic sticking up. One of the guys had said, why don't I use the AB figures as I paint, well, he didn't say as I painted a lot of them, but you know, obviously I'm familiar with the AB brand. They're changing agents at the moment and I'm waiting for the new agent to start. I might have to go down that route. To be honest with you, they were more war game faces for me. The rest of the moulding's fine, but I don't know, they just didn't, the faces didn't appeal to me so much for a diorama where you're trying to get things to look I don't know, more like the real thing. I've really lost us all here, haven't I, really? But yeah, so I might go down that route. I don't know. The resin figures, I'd seen some by different companies, but they're like about £9 for 3 figures, and the tank model itself only cost a tenner. And as I always am, money's always tight with me, let's face it, and I have to, you know, I have to get things when I can afford them and that, and nine quid for 3 figures, it was just a bit out of my price range really. So yeah, so this is the first two. I've done as much as I can with the face. I was going to put some stubble and that on, but at this scale it just and the moulding isn't deep. It's pretty hard to you know, to get that to look right without really blurring the face even more. So so that's one figure. I mean, when you stand them away, they look better. Do they look better? I don't know, but I'm trying to convince myself that they look better. But yeah, so that's the first two, and then there's two more. This guy here, I'm going to have sat on the one of the machine gun turrets of this tank. But again, you can see all the little flaky bits. I probably won't use these. The more I look at them, and it's even trying to get the paint to although I've got a good primer on them, because of all these little tufts, they leave tiny little. You can see little flecks of white here and there from the primer and that. It's been an absolute git to try and see under his chin, to try and get the coverage right. It's been, and you know, I mean, I paint figures for a living, but these I have really struggled. Again, you know, I'm going to say this. This isn't me having a pop at Orion as a company. As I say, it could just be my complete lack of experience with soft plastic figures. But no, it's sworn me away from them, I think. So I'll probably varnish these and put them in a bag just as a what ifs if I ever want to use them, I suppose. This is probably the better figure that I could clean up. You'd be the tank commander. I'd have him, you know, pointing out leaning over the engine deck. But no, they've been a real struggle to work on. As I say, you can't be happy if you can't clean a figure up properly before you even put paint on. I mean, that's why I say to clients, you know, I used to say, I'm happy for you to clean them up, obviously, and send them me to keep the price down. And they'd never clean them up properly, and you couldn't put paint, you know, as somebody who takes the job seriously, you couldn't paint them in the condition they were cleaned up. When I've just done exactly the same with these guys, you know, it wasn't a joy to paint, because I knew I mean, I look at them now and there's bits sticking up all over them. As I say, it's totally probably down to my way of how I've prepped them and whatever. But I did start to show them. So I have the tank. I did the base coat on the T28 probably just before the weekend. I had the same problem with my paint going down again, getting quite rough, textured. Again, it's just a huge learning curve for me. I'll get there in the end. It was a shame because the rest of it I'd put on quite well, and I went to put this second base coat down, and it just I'd have got a bit over enthusiastic, I think. But anyway, that's going to get painted again. I rubbed it down with a very soft sanding stick, and I'm going to give it another go tomorrow. The hole's stuck down and things like that. The two halves are together. So if I can get the paint right tomorrow, we'll have a vlog on that in the next couple of days after that. I've also got an elephant almost painted. All the saddle blankets and all that's done. I don't know what they call an elephant. Just call it a saddle blanket. But he's just got to have some clean up done. And I'm just on the last two crew figures for the first elephant. So we'll have a show and tell of a 28mm Indian war elephant in the next few days as well. So you take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you very much for all the kind words that's been put down from the last video. You know, I didn't really want to again derail this one, but just thank you very much. Means a lot. You're all a bunch of good guys, and those that have put likes up and things like that, really appreciate it. So you look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other very soon on another video. Cheers.